His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, in the presence of His Royal Highness the Prime Minister Prince Khalifa bin Salman Al Khalifa and His Royal Highness the Crown Prince, Deputy Supreme Commander and First Deputy Prime Minister, His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa received at Sakhir Palace yesterday Bahrain Defense Force BDF Commander-in-Chief Field Marshal Sheikh Khalifa bin Ahmed Al Khalifa, National Guard Commander Lieutenant General Sheikh Mohammed bin Isa Al Khalifa, Interior Minister Lieutenant General Sheikh Rashid bin Abdullah Al Khalifa, and Senior BDF National Guard and Interior officers. The attendees congratulated His Majesty the King on the holy month of Ramadan and wished him continued health and happiness, and for Bahrain and its people further progress and prosperity under the wise royal leadership. His Majesty exchanged with them greetings on the occasion and wished with many happy returns. After the recitation of verses of the Holy Quran, His Majesty the King delivered a speech.
سيدي حضرة صاحب الجلالة الملك حمد بن عيسى آل خليفة ملك البلاد المفدى حفظه الله ورعاه، سيدي صاحب السمو الملكي الأمير خليفة بن سلمان آل خليفة رئيس الوزراء الموقر حفظه الله ورعاه، سيدي صاحب السمو الملكي الأمير سلمان بن حمد آل خليفة ولي العهد نائب القائد الأعلى النائب الأول لرئيس مجلس الوزراء حفظه الله ورعاه، أصحاب السمو، أصحاب المعالي والسعادة، أيها الحضور الكريم، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته، وكل عام وأنتم بخير. خير ما نبدأ به هذا اللقاء الطيب تلاوة عطرة من القرآن الكريم للقارئ علي صلاح عمر.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها، لها ما كسبت وعليها ما اكتسبت، ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا، ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا، ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به، واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا، أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. صدق الله العظيم.
يتفضل سيدي حضرة صاحب الجلالة ملك البلاد المفدى حفظه الله ورعاه بإلقاء كلمة بهذه المناسبة.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. يسرنا في هذه الليلة المباركة من ليالي شهر رمضان الفضيل أن نلتقي بكم وأن نعرب لكم ولكافة منتسبي قوة الدفاع البحرين والحرس الوطني ووزارة الداخلية وجهاز الأمن الوطني عن شكرنا الخالص وامتناننا العميق لما تبذلونه من جهود استثنائية لحفظ أمن واستقرار الوطن، وبما يحقق آمال المواطنين وتطلعاتهم بمهنية قائمة على الانضباط وحكم القانون وتطبيق الأنظمة، مشيدين بكل فخر بمشاركة قوة دفاع البحرين ضمن قوات التحالف العربي المشترك في مناصرة الشرعية في اليمن الشقيق بقيادة المملكة العربية السعودية الشقيقة، وما يقومون به من جهود نبيلة في عمليات الإغاثة الإنسانية لاستقرار اليمن وشعبها العزيز، كواجب أخوي نابع من قيمنا المشتركة. ولا يفوتنا أيضا في هذا المقام أن ندعو لشهدائنا بالرحمة والمغفرة، وإننا على ثقة بأنه بعزيمتكم الصادقة وجهودكم المتواصلة سيكون النصر حليفكم بإذن الله. وختاما ندعو الله تعالى أن يعينكم على خدمة وطننا الغالي، وأن يعود شهر البركة والغفران علينا جميعا بالخير والأمن والسلام. كل عام وأنتم بخير، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
His Royal Highness the Prime Minister Prince Khalifa bin Salman Al Khalifa issued Edict 34 for 2016 appointing Sheikh Abdullah Al Fadl as Director for Small and Medium Institution Development at the Ministry of Industry, Commerce and Tourism. His Royal Highness the Prime Minister Prince Khalifa bin Salman Al Khalifa chaired a work meeting today attended by the deputies of His Royal Highness the Foreign Minister, Minister of Information Affairs and a number of senior state officials. His Royal Highness the Prime Minister directed to accelerate and double the efforts in order to combat any attempt that aims to target the kingdom's democratic march. His Royal Highness affirmed that the huge efforts exerted by the kingdom in combating terrorism and extremism and its keenness to preserve the kingdom's security and stability requires more diplomatic and media support, and directed to further exert efforts in order to highlight the threats of terrorism that the kingdom is currently facing. During the meeting, His Royal Highness addressed the foreign interference in the kingdom's domestic affairs and affirmed that the security of Bahrain is on top of every priority, and stressed that everyone should adhere to the law in order to maintain global security and stability. His Royal Highness also affirmed the government's continuous commitment to take all necessary procedures as to protect the kingdom from terrorism and preserve its society from attempts that aim to target its unity. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince, Deputy Supreme Commander and First Deputy Prime Minister Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa today held an iftar banquet for senior officers and officials from the Ministry of Interior at the Public Security Officers Club.
سلام سلام
His Royal Highness was welcomed to the iftar banquet by the Minister of Interior, His Excellency Lieutenant General Sheikh Rashid bin Abdullah Al Khalifa. During the banquet, His Royal Highness stressed that the principles of justice underpin fairness in all societies and help to safeguard citizens' interests and rights. The Crown Prince also highlighted that His Majesty the King has constantly emphasized his confidence in the unity that exists amongst Bahraini communities, which is a value strongly associated with Bahrain's national identity. His Royal Highness further noted the importance of maintaining stability within the kingdom and ensuring long-term security for all. In this regard, His Royal Highness praised the MOI security personnel who work hard to protect the public and preserve stability in the kingdom, which provides an environment that is conducive to sustainable development. His Royal Highness also paid tribute to MOI personnel that have given their life in the line of duty when selflessly protecting others. The Crown Prince expressed the country's pride and appreciation towards all fallen MOI personnel who are remembered during His Majesty King Hamad's initiative of the Commemoration Day, which takes place each year on the 17th of December. The Crown Prince went on to exchange Ramadan greetings with the Interior Minister and senior officers, expressing his appreciation towards the efforts of the MOI and all security personnel. On behalf of the ministry and its employees, the Minister of Interior expressed his gratitude for His Royal Highness' acknowledgement of the ministry's security efforts and extended his Ramadan greetings to the Crown Prince and well wishes for the further safety and prosperity of the kingdom under the leadership of His Majesty the King. His Excellency stressed that the MOI is committed to upholding high standards when carrying out its duties and expressed his commitment to carrying out the orders of the Supreme Commander in order to protect rights and freedoms within the country. His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Salman Al Khalifa, son of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince, also attended the iftar banquet. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince, Deputy Supreme Commander and First Deputy Prime Minister Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa this evening met General Sir Nicholas Houghton, the Chief of the Defence Staff for the British Armed Forces at Rafah Palace. During the meeting, the Crown Prince and Chief of the Defence Staff discussed a number of regional and international developments, during which the Crown Prince highlighted the strong and long-lasting ties between the Kingdom of Bahrain and the United Kingdom. His Royal Highness and Chief of the Defence Staff also discussed Bahrain-UK military and defence cooperation, which remains a key part of retaining military capabilities and the region's security and stability. The meeting also covered ways in which to bolster cooperation across a range of sectors in order to achieve shared goals and strategic interests, including providing strategic support to securing lasting stability and security in the region. His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Salman Al Khalifa, son of the Crown Prince, also attended the meeting. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince, Deputy Supreme Commander and First Deputy Prime Minister Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa late yesterday visited the Majlis of the Kayseruni family and Majlis of the Kohiji family. His Royal Highness said the strong bonds that exist between Bahrain's community form a key part of the kingdom's Arab and Islamic principles and values. He highlighted His Majesty's long-standing commitment to maintaining the country's stability and prosperity, which he said has helped Bahrain to foster the principles of tolerance, compassion, and fairness for all. The Crown Prince stressed that Bahrain, under His Majesty's directives, will continue to improve citizens' living standards and added that this strategic goal will require the combined effort of all the people of Bahrain. Speaking about the importance of sustainability, the Crown Prince said over a decade ago, Bahrain recognized the importance of advancing long-term diversification and facilitating public-private partnerships. He added that it is equally important to recognize that Bahrain's economic vision, which is built upon the principles of sustainability, competitiveness, and fairness, continues to deliver wide-ranging initiatives that further improve citizens' living standards and public services. The Crown Prince said extensive collaboration between the public and private sectors makes an important contribution to accelerating economic growth. He emphasized that a key priority for the coming period is to strengthen the private sector's role in driving economic growth, while the kingdom works in parallel to transform the public sector's role into that of a dynamic regulator. His Royal Highness said the recent enactment of wide-ranging laws purposely designed to further enhance Bahrain's economic environment and regulatory frameworks will help to preserve the kingdom's economic resilience in the face of adverse global economic conditions. The Majlis hosts and guests expressed their gratitude for the Crown Prince's visit and highlighted the Crown Prince's commitment to advancing long-term diversification efforts to guarantee opportunities for all Bahrainis. Bahrain Defense Force Commander-in-Chief Field Marshal Sheikh Khalifa bin Ahmed Al Khalifa received at the General Command today the outgoing Chief of the Defence Staff of the British Armed Forces, General Sir Nicholas Houghton, and his accompanying delegation. The meeting was also attended by Minister of Defence Affairs Lieutenant General Yusuf Al-Jarahma and BDF Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Dhiab Al-Naimi. Field Marshal Sheikh Khalifa thanked the British Army official for his efforts during his post and wished him success in his coming tasks. The meeting also discussed regional and international updates in addition to issues of common concern. The Representatives Council held a meeting today between representatives of the legislative and executive authorities. Minister of Interior Lieutenant General Sheikh Rashid bin Abdullah Al Khalifa chaired the executive side in the presence of Minister of Justice, Islamic Affairs and Endowments Sheikh Khalid bin Ali Al Khalifa, Minister of Labor and Social Development Jamil Ahmedan, and Minister of Parliament Affairs Ghanem Al Bouainin. Meanwhile, Speaker of the Representatives Council Ahmed Al Mullah chaired legislative side in the presence of several MPs. Speaker Al Mullah affirmed the security and stability of the kingdom is thanks to the tremendous efforts of the people to preserve them, saying that the meeting aims to reinforce constructive joint action between the Representatives Council and the government. He lauded the directives of His Royal Highness the Prime Minister and his support to parliamentarian work and service of the nation and the people. The Interior Minister briefed the meeting on security updates and the procedures taken to preserve security and stability and to protect national gains and achievements. He stressed that the ministry is ongoing with its procedures to enforce the rule of law and maintain security, and commended the role of the Representatives Council in reinforcing the values of unity and national spirit. Minister of Justice also briefed the meeting on the ministry's procedures to face organizations with external religious reference that work against the Constitution and law, in addition to abusing Bahrain's sects and harming its social fabric and national unity. Meanwhile, Minister of Labor said the recently dissolved organization did not adhere to the law and broken its basic regulations. For his part, Minister of Parliament Affairs reviewed the efforts of the Foreign Ministry in informing Gulf, Arab, Muslim and friendly countries on the latest procedures taken by Bahrain to maintain its security and stability and protect its citizens and residents. Representatives Council Speaker Ahmed Al Mullah confirmed that the security of the nation and the people cannot be jeopardized and asserted the sovereignty of the rule of law. The Representatives Council issued a statement in which it affirmed the legislative authority's support to all legal measures taken by the kingdom in order to maintain its security, stability and social unity. It also stressed the importance of combating terrorist organizations and individuals which incite acts of violence and vandalism. The Council expressed its rejection of all attempts that aim to target the democratic gains of His Majesty the King's reform project. The Shura Council expressed its appreciation for the kingdom's political openness since the launching of His Majesty the King's reform project. The Council expressed its supportive stance to all legal and security procedures against political organizations and individuals aiming at maintaining the kingdom's security and stability and preserving its cohesion and unity. Minister of Foreign Affairs Sheikh Khalid bin Ahmed Al Khalifa held a meeting today with the head of the diplomatic mission to the kingdom. Sheikh Khalid affirmed that the regulations recently taken by the Kingdom of Bahrain were aimed to maintain the country's security, protect its citizens and residents, and continue with the process of progress and development in the country in light of the steady and strong reform project of His Majesty the King. He added that this has been taking place with the support of all the people of Bahrain who insist to participate in the continued process of democratic development to promote security and stability in the kingdom, to deter any violation by anyone in order to preserve rights and freedoms and consolidate the rule of law and institutions. The minister noted that all procedures were implemented according to the law, and after many violations had been committed by some sides who are found involved in many practices that pose a threat to the interests of the homeland and its security, and set the door open to violence, extremism and terrorism that risks to considerably damage the values of democracy and human rights, which any state that works for the benefit of its citizens and seeks to ensure a secure and prosperous future for them cannot tolerate. He pointed that the judiciary and the rule of law are the main references that people can refer to restore the rights of all sides, be they individuals, societies or states, and are the rights mechanisms to correct the past that should be corrected, not to be against a particular person or party, but to uphold the security of the homeland, which is considered a red line that none could approach. Meanwhile, the minister valued the positions of the brotherly and friendly countries in support of all the procedures taken by the kingdom to confront attempts to shake internal stability and civil peace, saying that such stances are a living proof on the integrity and inevitability of such measures and are reflect of a general agreement among the world countries in reunification of renunciation of violence and extremism of all sorts and the need to take preventative and punitive measures to rid the society of its hazards. The minister also called on all the states and international organizations to rely solely on reliable, well-sourced information, to take appropriate positions in their issued statements to ensure non-interference in Bahrain's internal affairs and respect laws and the provisions of the independent and fair Bahraini judiciary. His Majesty the King's representative for Charity Works and Youth Affairs, Chairman of the Supreme Council for Youth and Sports, and President of Bahrain Olympic Committee, His Highness Sheikh Nasser bin Hamad Al Khalifa, deputized the son of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, to crown the title winners of Nasser 9 Ramadan football tournament. His Highness Sheikh Mohammed also rewarded the runner-up players as well as the referees of the match. His Highness Sheikh Mohammed congratulated the winners on their achievements, expressing his delight at the performances they showcased during the final game. On his behalf, His Highness Sheikh Nasser hailed the tremendous success achieved by the tournament, attributing it to the collective and professional work of the members of the various committees who put in tireless efforts to ensure the success of the event. Egypt expressed its supportive stance to all legal measures taken by the kingdom in order to maintain its security and stability. In a statement released by the Egyptian Foreign Ministry, Egypt affirmed its rejection of any foreign interference in the kingdom's domestic affairs and its rejection of all attempts that fuel political sectarianism and violence. The Kingdom of Morocco expressed its full support to the legal, administrative and security measures recently adopted by Bahrain to safeguard its national unity and stability. In a statement issued by Morocco's Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Cooperation, the kingdom reiterated its supporting stance into the sincere efforts exerted by Bahrain under the leadership of His Majesty the King to enhance principles of national dialogue, democratic march, stability and cohesion between all components of the people of Bahrain. The statement also stressed the right of the authorities in Bahrain to take the necessary measures in order to maintain the kingdom's national unity within the principles of citizenship and peaceful coexistence based on Bahrain's National Action Charter, Constitution and laws that allow individuals and groups freedom to practice their rights. Charity is an important part of the holy month of Ramadan. In this report, Danielle Deporte investigates the special efforts made by the Royal Charity Organization for this festive time.
Both fasting, Saum, and charitable giving, Zakat, are basic pillars of Islam. These practices combine synergistically during the holy month of Ramadan.
Zakah is a way to willingly help people who are in need and to minimize their suffering and thus create a just and stable society. And of course, linking zakah, charity work with Ramadan is doubly important, because that's when you really feel the need of the poor, the widows, orphans, and their privilege.
Under the guidance of Honorary President, His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, and Chairman of the Board of Trustees, His Highness Sheikh Nasser bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the Royal Charity Organization, RCO, works around the year in Bahrain and overseas. During Ramadan and Eid, there is an increase in efforts to support Bahrain's orphans, widows and others in need with enhanced assistance from a variety of benefactors.
In Ramadan, usually the emotions of people works better, and hence the support becomes bigger. We already have given Eid addresses for the young orphan children donated by benevolent people. This is in addition to the additional salary that His Majesty gave to every widow and every orphan. And we get so many different supports, even food from companies in Bahrain. Already we've got a food basket that we have distributed to about 8,000 families.
The work of the RCO is not limited to providing funds, goods and services. It also strives to engage people in society and provide them opportunities to develop themselves.
We get a lot of requests from people who want us to organize programs. And there's nothing more joyful than seeing these children dressed up in five-star hotels and having fun, having Ramadan iftar. Of course, a highlight is their iftar with His Highness Sheikh Nasser. Every year he makes sure that he meets them as part of his frequent meeting with the orphans. Sometimes just taking them out, it makes them feel so happy, you know, just to them when they go to a five-star hotel or to a play like a Gargaon, our traditional games in Sif Mall or in a special place with little toys or little sweets. To them it is like going to Disneyland.
Given that there is often an uptick in the number of traffic accidents during Ramadan and Eid, the RCO's Secretary General, Dr. Mustafa Al-Sayed, left us with an important message.
We hope that people drive more safely and we don't create orphans, because car accidents and, industrial accidents, one of the fastest way to create orphans, and if these are reduced, the number of orphans are reduced.
Reporting for Bahrain Television, I'm Danielle Deporto.